At the start of June, hundreds of millions of Europeans went to vote in one of the biggest democratic events in the world. They elected 720 members of the European Parliament, also called MEPs, who will make important decisions for Europe over the next 5 years. The election process is quite fascinating. People vote for their national parties, and these national parties then collaborate with other national parties from different countries to form EU political groups. These groups are like coalitions of like-minded parties across all European countries. While the elections themselves are long over, the real excitement has been happening behind the scenes. For the past month, there's been plenty of haggling and horse trading as these political groups are being formed in the European Parliament. Right after we voted on June the 9th, seats were distributed among 7 political groups. The center-right EPP won the most seats, 190, with Ursula von der Leyen at the helm. This group includes parties like the German CDU, Spain's PP, and Italy's Forza Italia, and many more. Next came the center-left S&D group, with 136 seats, including parties like Italy's Democratic Party, the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, and the German SPD. Following them, the Liberal Renew Europe group secured 80 seats, including parties like France's Renaissance, Progressive Slovakia, and the German FDP. The Greens managed to win 52 seats, including parties like Germany's Greens, France's Ecologists, and Italy's Green Europe. The right-wing conservative ECR garnered 76 seats, including parties like Brothers of Italy, Poland's Law and Justice, and the Sweden Democrats. Then the far-right IND group obtained 58 seats, including parties like France's National Rally, Austria's Freedom Party, and Italy's League Party, while the far left, the left, took 39 seats, including parties like France's La Insoumise, Greece's Syriza, and Germany's The Left. Now let's reorder this quickly by their size. Additionally, there were 89 members of parliament elected who were unaligned to any political group. For example, the German AfD, Italy's Five-Star Movement, or Hungary's Fidesz. This is critical, as such a big non-aligned group was poised to change the EU political landscape since the election. And oh wow, it really did. Spoiler alert, since the election, Renew Europe has dropped from 3rd largest political group to 5th, and 2 new groups have been created, and 1 political group has disappeared completely. It all started right after the election, with Meloni's group, the ECR, who had their sights set on becoming the 3rd biggest group in the European Parliament. They quickly managed to pick up multiple parties from the unaligned stack, most notably 5 seats from the Romanian AUR party, not to mention a seat from the Greens, ID, and 2 more from the unaligned stack, bringing the ECR to 85 seats. Renew Europe, meanwhile, suffered a major setback as Czechia's ANO and their 7 seats left the political group due to disagreements over immigration and the Green Deal. So just like that, Meloni's ECR became the 3rd largest group in the European Parliament, for the time being. Do you remember this guy? It's Mr. Orban from Hungary, whose party Fidesz has been unaligned for years, since being kicked out of the EPP group in 2019. This time, he wanted to do things differently. He got together with his mates from the Czech Republic and Austria with the aim of creating a new political group. And it didn't take long. On the 30th of June, Austria's Freedom Party left the ID group and joined Fidesz and ANO from the non-aligned stack to create a new group called the Patriots for Europe. But to be recognized by the EU, a new group needs parties from at least 7 countries and 23 seats, meaning that they didn't yet meet the threshold. No time was wasted though. Within days after the formation and announcement, the EU right-wing political landscape completely changed. From the non-aligned stack, Czechia's Prisaha and Motorists, Latvia First, and Greece's Voice of Reason all joined the Patriots for Europe. The ECR lost their 6 Vox seats, and the EPP lost 1 seat, all of whom joined the Patriots. But the group that got completely decimated was the ID group. Belgium's Flemish Interest, the Danish People's Party, the Dutch Party for Freedom, Portugal's Chega, Italy's League, and most importantly, France's National Rally, all switched to the Patriots. So yeah, the ID group is dead, with the 1 leftover seat joining the non-aligned stack. As for the Patriots for Europe, within the space of 2 weeks they have been catapulted from non-existence to becoming the 3rd biggest group in the European Parliament, with 84 seats. But more on them later. So what else changed? Well, the ECR lost another seat to the non-aligned group, bringing their total tally to 78. and Renew Europe was able to wrestle 2 seats away from the EPP, and 2 more from the non-aligned stack, bringing their total to 77. The EPP took 1 seat back from the Greens to bring their final tally to 188 seats. The Greens won 3 new seats from the non-aligned pile, taking their total to 53. The left had 1 party leave to the unaligned stack, but they made significant gains as Italy's 5-star movement was recently accepted into their group. This brings their tally up to 46. And lastly, there's the S&D, where absolutely nothing happened. They still have 136 seats, just like 1 month ago. So that's our European Parliament, right? Well, not so fast. There are still 58 seats in the non-aligned stack, with parties from over 13 countries. This includes the German far-right AfD, who have a staggering 14 seats. The AfD, after being kicked out of the ID group, now the Patriots group, didn't want to sit by the sidelines, and they created yet another political group called Europe of Sovereign Nations, or simply the Sovereignists. The Sovereignists include the following parties and have a total of 25 seats, making it the smallest political group in the European Parliament. So, this is the current parliament. Now let's plot these parties on a horizontal line. The far left on the left, the far right on the right, and the center parties in the middle. And this is what it would look like. Here you can clearly see that there is a larger number of seats on the right side of the EU Parliament than on the left. In fact, if you take the 3 parties on the very right of the spectrum and add their seats together, they would be almost as big as the EPP group, with 187 seats. So why are these 3 right-wing groups not working together? What do they actually stand for? The European Conservatives and Reformists, also called ECR, is a right-wing conservative group that champions traditional conservative values and policies. As soft Eurosceptics, the ECR advocates for limiting further European Union integration while supporting the sovereignty of member states, except in the area of defense, where they support increased EU cooperation to enhance the collective security of all member states. Additionally, the ECR is a strong advocate for Ukraine, advocating humanitarian, financial, and military aid. The Patriots for Europe are a far-right-leaning group that believes in a Europe of strong and independent nations. As Eurosceptics, they promote national sovereignty and oppose any further transfers of power to European institutions. In fact, they advocate for power to be returned to the member states and go back to an economic union and uphold each nation's right to independent diplomacy. Regarding Ukraine, they allow their members to take their own stance. For instance, the Dutch PVV is willing to consider more Ukraine military aid, while the Hungarian Fidesz party is strongly opposed to military support. Essentially, there's no unifying manifesto on this issue, with each party deciding independently. Then the Sovereignists, who are a far-right and ultra-nationalist group that is pro-Russian and very Eurosceptic. They were born mainly out of the will of AfD Germans not to be marginalized as a non-aligned party, and they have no formal manifesto or report detailing their goals. However, some of their intentions are very clear. They oppose most EU policies and seek to return powers from Brussels to the national level. This includes abandoning the euro and holding referendum votes on EU membership. Now, let's return to our original question. Has the far right finally united? No, not even close. The ECR is significantly different from the Patriots and the Sovereignists, especially regarding their stance on Russia and Ukraine. The Sovereignists are simply too extreme, even for the Patriots. Additionally, many parties and their leaders simply don't like each other, which prevents any form of unity. So here's an overview of our new EU Parliament for the next 5 years. A seat here and there might still change, but overall, this is what we'll need to work with. And who will lead this bunch, you ask? We have a video coming soon, so subscribe if you are interested. Thank you to our 2 contributors for this video, who helped immensely with research and quality. You guys are awesome. And check out our video on who will join the EU next here, or who will join the Eurozone next here. And if you like the content, please like the video. And if you're a real believer, check out our Patreon. Link is in the description. Until next time.